Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Lisa, and in this video we're just going to talk through how I've completed this pet portrait of the French Bulldog Paris. So if you like this video, remember to like and subscribe, and if you feel like you'd like to give this one a go, you can check me out on Patreon, where this one is a full tutorial. You get given the reference photo, the line art, material list, and step-by-step instructions how to complete this one all by yourself. And if you're interested in having a pet portrait commission completed by me, check out my website and you can send me an inquiry on there. So let's get started. So these dogs are very unique looking with their big wide eyes and their little scrunchy noses. So I really wanted to do the eyes some justice and make sure that I put those in first. It also gives you a really good feeling of the personality of the dog, and it really is a nice place to build on from. So when you put the eyes in, then you can start to move in and add fur around the face. So although this dog is just black and white, I did use a lot of undercolors and a lot of warmer and cooler tones to build up the layers. So I used some sky blue, which is a blue colour. I used Caput Mortem Violet and Beige Red, which are sort of red and pink colours. And I also used some burnt ochre and light yellow ochre, which is orange and yellow. I usually always build up my colours from light to dark. So putting in the light base and then adding in some of the darker tones. So for the base of the fur on this one, I used the cold grey one or the warm grey one, added some of the sky blue, and then started to get darker with the cold grey 3, dark sepia, warm grey 3, the warm grey 5, and black. So when it came to the ears on this one, there was a lot of different colours that you can see. So once you look at the reference photo, it does just look like a black and white dog, but there are a lot of colours that go underneath. So in the ear, where there are cooler tones, I was using the sky blue and the cold grey colours. And then where it's sort of a warmer colour, there was sort of a little bit of pink, so I used the beige red. And where there are sort of browner tones, I was using the burnt ochre. And then going over them with the cold grey 3 and the warm grey 3 to dull them down a little bit. So if I just went in with really hard pressure on the burnt ochre beige red or the light yellow ochre, you would see really bright pink, yellows and oranges going through the ear, which is not what it looks like in real life. So I just went in really lightly, blended it down with the cold and the warm greys just to dull the colour so it wasn't so bright, and then go over and start to get darker with the warm grey 5 and the black. So this is why colour pencil takes so long. It's because you build up your layers really gradually. If you just go in with really hard pressures, then you can't go in and build up the different layers. So you need to go in really softly and build up the layers very smoothly rather than going in with a hard pressure. Even in the very blackest sections on the dog, you don't want to go in with a really hard pressure on the black or the warm grey 5. You just want to build up your layers really gradually. So you might do a layer of the warm grey 5 and then build over that with some of the sky blue just to blend it down and make the paper nice and smooth. And then you can go over again with the black, over again with the warm grey 5, and then add in a little bit more of the blue if you need to. So as I'm moving around the piece, I just started to pick little bits of sections of fur and put that in. I didn't want to go over and do really big sections because you can get lost if you don't have a very good outline, and it does take a very long time to do each section. So it is nice just to finish a section and then move on to another one. For the nose on this one, I did use a soft white pencil to go in and put down the wax resist, where you can see the very bright white highlights on the nose. So putting down the white wax resist will help stop any pencil going in these white sections, keeping them really bright. And this is what will make your piece look more realistic when you're using your light and dark tones to really emphasize the shadows. So around the mouth and for the whiskers, I also did go in with an embossing tool. An embossing tool is just a tool with a piece of metal at the end so that it can just indent the paper. They're relatively cheap and you can pick them up at most craft stores. Although if you don't have one of these, you can also use like a pen lid, a really white pencil, anything to indent the page. This will help keep those whiskers nice and white. I also did go in with a slice tool in some areas as well, but you don't want to rely on the slice tool to get those really white hairs because they won't be as white as what the embossed lines can get. So when moving on to the collar of this one, in the reference photo it was blue, but the client asked if it could be pink, so I went ahead and used some of the beige red, which is the same colour that we've been using in the dog, on the collar because I want it to be a cohesive piece. And if you have the same colours throughout the whole thing, it will make it come together a lot better. And I also added a little bit of cinnamon, which is just sort of a dirtier colour of the beige red. And then on this dog, there was a little ID tag. So I had a good time going in and creating this little ID tag, putting in the little chain links as well, that holding it together. But I do point out in the tutorial of this one, if you don't want to put in the tag, you don't have to. You can always just skip that and then do the body, which will save you a little bit of time. But I'd love to hear in the comments below what you think of this piece. And if you'd like to give it a go, remember to check me out on Patreon. You can check out my website for all the other tutorials that I have. And if you're interested in buying any of my art, I have Etsy. And this is the final result. I really hope that you like this piece. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.